okay, do you want me to continue? You know, I was looking at some of the places where they had high turnouts for Brexit, yeah? Saying that they didn't want the Europeans involved and they didn't want this, they didn't want that. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. For you people that live in those seaside towns, up and down the coast in the UK, and you voted to pull out of Europe, there was a time when Britain's beaches were the dirtiest beaches known to man. You used to go swimming, there'd be shit floating around in the sea. You go swimming, you might all catch cholera in the sea. The beaches were dirty. For years and years, Britain dragged their feet. And then the European said, you have to get your beaches clean. You can't be part of this European club, get the benefits, and not bring the conditions of your people to match the financial gain that you're getting. Get your beaches clean. So it was European Parliament directives that cleaned up Britain's beaches. So you seaside towns that voted to pull out of Europe, when the shit starts to metaphorically go back onto your beach, understand that that's because you decided to pull out of Europe, because Europe had standards. I remember the times when the River Thames was a dead river. You remember those times? You remember, Cameron's nodding his head in agreement. Nothing could survive in the River Thames because it was so dirty. Europe said, cut the pollution out, clean up your act. Come on, Britain. And they had to clean up the river. Not saying it's all perfect, but now River Thames, you might all see a little dolphin every now and then in the River Thames. I see people going fishing in the River Thames now, you know what I'm saying? Why is that? If you left it to the British Parliament to clean the River Thames, trust me, you'd be swimming in soup right now. It's because we was in Europe, they said clean it up. The quality of London's air. We got some of the worst air pollution in Europe right now. 9,500 people in London die every year because of poor air quality. Boris Johnson was your mayor for 8 years in London, and we still got poor air quality. Now imagine, it was the European directives that set the pollution levels, and London always failed to meet its quota. In London, we failed our annual poor air quota, I think, in about 8 days. 1 year is 365 days. We failed our quota in about a week and a half. That's under Boris Johnson. Could you imagine the quality of England's environment under Boris Johnson as Prime Minister? Ooh. Yo, anyone smart out there, get into gas masks. I think that's where the future lies. Invest in gas masks. Because the way the stock exchange is going right now, you're in trouble. Today, they had to stop trading on Royal Bank of Scotland. That's the bank that's been propped up by you guys, the British taxpayer. Royal Bank of Scotland lost 15% of its share value Monday morning. They had to stop trading the shares. Barclays lost, I think, 11% share value in one morning. They had to stop trading shares. Remember, the result of the Brexit only came out on Friday. It's only a couple of days ago. And you're telling me that we're gonna have to wait until October to get a prime minister, so the stock markets will be like this, up and down like this? I'm telling you, people will be jumping off of buildings. Man will be going crazy. Doctors will be prescribing antidepressants because people will be going into hyperdrive. You will see what's gonna happen. So here we go. So here we go, here we go, here we go.
The saga continues.
Okay, let's get into something of the far right, snake oil sellers, those quacks that have been pushing this agenda that led the people of this country to believe that by pulling out of Europe, it's going to be some wonderful new dawn for Britain, some great awakening, you know, some reconnecting with our wonderful past. Let's break this stuff down. Don't get it twisted. From UKIP to the EDL, to Britain First, and all those other far-right groups, they snake oil salesmen. They are quacks, nothing left. They're pushing the country towards the right. Not towards righteousness, just towards the right. For you to blame immigrants for all the ills and the woes that this country is facing is a downright lie. Just like how you were saying that there'll be £350 million to spend on the NHS if we pull out of Europe. Not even 5 hours after the referendum result, Farage was on Breakfast TV, Susanna Reid she questioned him on it, and he backtracked. Not even 5 hours. They backtracked from the 350 million that they're going to spend on the NHS. Why? Because people like Gove and Boris Johnson, these people are pro-marketeers, pro-privatisation. They have no love for the NHS. So for them to say they're going to spend 350 on the NHS is a lie anyway. And plus it's not going to happen anyway. And Nigel Farage said, oh, well, I actually wasn't part of that. And, I wasn't part of the campaign and this, that, and the third. That's what he said. But when they were going around with the bus, with the 350 million written on it, he didn't say, sorry guys, that's not really right and exact. That's not true. Now here's me. I'm with the Greens. Now if I knew that there were people in the Green Party that were campaigning and what they were saying was a lie, I would have to say, excuse me, you can't be campaigning like that because you're lying to the people. But what do? They just let them get on with it. They tricked you. You're not getting no 350 million on your NHS. You're not even getting 100 million on your NHS. What you're getting is that you'll get increased privatisation of your NHS. That's what you're going to get with these boys. I'm telling you straight. They lied to you. And they put the blame on immigrants and they put the blame on Muslims. Now, why you want to put all the blame on Muslims for? That's what I don't understand. Why blame them? Why blame them? But then again, when you think about it, it's much more easy. It's a better slogan to say, foreigners out, than for you to go and do the research and find out where the real problem lies. That one, it's a bit of a no-brainer. Yeah? So I can see why that's a far more attractive slogan, But this is what the Germans did back in the 1930s. Look where that ended up. This is what was happening out in the former Yugoslavia. You can't be blaming people like this. I saw some stuff the other day that was put up by the, what do they call themselves? Britain First. And they've put it out there that there are these Muslim paedophile gangs that are stalking the country, Muslim paedophiles. And then the other day, someone sent me a link, and the amount of people that are connected to some of these far-right groups, including the EDL, that are convicted paedophiles. They have paedophiles in their ranks. There's even a photograph which shows the head of the EDL, what's his name? Not the EDL, sorry, Britain First, Paul Golding, who stood for Mayor of London. I think he got about 30,000 votes. Me, Rashid Nix down in Lambeth, one constituency, I got 26,000 votes. He got 30,000 votes across the whole of London. I got 26,000 votes right here in this constituency. And there's a photograph, and it shows Paul Golding and the young lady Jada, and the man that's next to him is a convicted paedophile, and he's part of their crew. But yet still you don't hear the Britain First people talking about paedophiles within their own ranks. You don't hear them talking about the paedophiles that are operating in the BNP, and they're there. Just go online, you can find the research, it's all there. Oh, we'll provide the links, don't worry, yeah? So rather than they name and shame their own people, they still want to keep pointing the finger at the Muslims. It's called cognitive dissonance. It's a mental condition. When the man killed Joe Cox last week or the week before, and they say that he supposedly said Britain first, or put Britain first, and Britain First came out and issued a statement saying he's not one of our members and this and that, blah, 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 blah. But the rhetoric that had been ramped up, this far-right rhetoric, meant that here was an MP who looked at the situation on a holistic level and realized that the people in Syria and the people in Palestine were suffering, which had an impact over here, so she's trying to do work for all the people. She was criticized. She should be here working for us, on behalf of us. Okay, I get that. But then when people were defending the killer and making excuses for the killer, then you think, yo guys, there needs to be a rational debate about this, a rational discussion. But when you talk about racism, you can't have a rational discussion. You know why? There's only one race, it's the human race. So when people start talking racism, it's emotional. And like I said, Your head is for thinking, your heart is for pumping blood. So these people, you can't have a rational conversation with it. Even Nigel Farage had been exposed as being a racist from when he was at public school. He went to Dulwich College. And Channel 4 exposed him. They got a letter that was, I think, was written by one of the heads of year that said that Nigel Farage was exhibiting certain racist tendencies from like the age of 15 years old. So here's a man, and what's he done? He's taken his politics and he's telling his politics to fit with his bigotry. That's so deep. That's so deep. That's so deep.